So XRP as of late has been on an uptrend. And as you guys know, following on from my last update, I mentioned how I've been tracking a 5-year structure to the upside. And since then, it looks like we had the wave 3 that played out where we ended up topping off at $3.18.58. That then led to this pullback where we more or less found support at the 50 EMA to form the wave 4. And it looks like we are now within this fifth wave to the upside where we have the potential to breach past this local top at $3.18.58. So if I drop down to the hourly chart, in order for this structure to be in play, what we need is for a 5-way structure to form within this fifth wave. So what I'm looking at for right now is for this move to the upside where we got rejected at the 50 EMA to form the wave 1. That then led to this pullback to the downside to form wave 2. And then we see a wave 3, 4, and 5 play out to form this fifth wave here. And to go even deeper and break down the internal structures, within this third wave, what we need is for another 5-way structure to form. And so this move to the upside here could be the wave 1, where we ended up reaching $3.05. And then where this pullback to the downside to form wave 2. And then we see a wave 3, 4, and 5 play out. That then form this third wave. And then in the next couple of days or so, we see the wave 4 and the wave 5 play out to form this fifth wave. And so for this 5-way structure to be in play, this third wave as a minimum requirement will have to reach the 1.618 level. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this down to $2.98.14, and you can see that the 1.618 level sits at $3.13.65, and we ended up exceeding that level when we ended up reaching $3.13.97. And so yeah, it's very much possible that we ended up forming this third wave, and we have this wave 4 that's playing out right now where we could even potentially retest the 50 EMA. And so what I do is I'll drop down to the 5-minute chart just so I can see if whether or not we have formed this wave 4. And so in order for this wave 4 to have formed, what we need is for a WXY structure to have formed. And so this move to the downside here could have formed the wave W, and we had a corrective move to the upside to form wave X, followed by another pullback to the downside where we failed to find support at the 200 EMA, and that could have then formed the wave Y, where that wave Y could have reached $3.08. So for this structure to be in play, the wave Y would typically reach anywhere between 1 to 1.236, and the minimum requirement, which is the 61.8% retracement level, needs to have been met. And so if I bring in the fib tool and bring this up to $3.13.12, and the minimum requirement has been met, as you can see, where we ended up exceeding that level, and we ended up tapping into that typical range for the Y wave, which is anywhere between 1 to 1.236, as you guys can see. So yeah, again, it looks like we could have bottomed out the Y wave at $3.08. And since then, we are seeing this recovery to the upside, but we did get rejected at the 50 EMA. So worst case scenario, what we could see forming is a bigger WXY structure, but ultimately I'm looking at for a reversal to the upside where we can then begin to track this wave 5. But assuming that we ended up completing the wave 4 made up of this WXY structure, if I go back to the hourly chart, the short-term target for XRP would be the 1.236 to 1.618 level. And so XRP could potentially reach anywhere between $3.15.19 to $3.17.18. That would then form this wave 5 and in turn that would then complete this wave 3. And then again in the next couple of days or so, we'll then see the wave 4 and the wave 5 play out. And if we do manage to have a bigger WXY structure that's forming, for this 5-way structure to be in play, what we need is for the price of XRP to not drop below the wave 1, which is this level here at $3.06. If it does so, that would then invalidate the structure, and it's very much possible that we have another structure that's in play. And if I go back to the daily chart and remove some of this, and yeah, so given that I'm looking at for this wave 4 to have been completed at this level here, what I'm looking at for is for this fifth wave to be in play, which would typically retrace anywhere between 1.236 to 618 of the wave 4. And so again, the next key target for XRP would be this region between $3 and 24.33 cents to $3 and 33.86 cents. That would then form this fifth wave, and then shortly after, I will be looking at for a pullback, but that would then be followed by a reversal to the upside where we continue to see high highs, and I'll be looking at for XRP to then tap into this region that I've talked about previously. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in days and weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys updated. And so yeah, that's just my update on XRP. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.